Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to solve a worksheet of lecture 3. In the first question we have to join the corresponding expressions. So I have expressions in verbal form and I need to join it with its algebraic form. So starting by the first one, the sum of a number n and 8. The word sum indicates that we are adding a number n with 8. So the correct answer is n plus 8. A number n subtracted from 8. You should be careful in this exercise because you have to know that when I say subtracted from 8, that means I already have 8 and I'm subtracting n from 8. So it's 8 minus n and not n minus 8. So you have to pay attention. When I say subtracted from 8 means I already have 8. Okay, so it's 8 minus n. Now the product of 8 and a number n, the product means I'm multiplying or times, so it's 8 times n. 8 subtracted from a number n. When I say subtracted from n, that means I already have n and I'm subtracting 8 from it, so it's n minus 8. And now in the second question, we need to write each literal expression a numerical one. So I already have the verbal form and I need to change it into a literal expression or a numerical one. So we have the number 50 augmented by 22. Augmented by means I'm adding or increasing, so it's 50 plus 22. 6 plus the product of 12 and 5. So I'm already multiplying 12 plus 5. Then I'm adding 6 to this product. So it's 6 plus 12 times 5. Now 3 times the difference of 12 and 7. So I'm already making the difference between 12 and 7. After then I'm going to multiply it by 3. So it's 3 times the subtraction of 12 and 7, or the difference between 12 and 7. Okay, 2 minus the quotient of 18 and 3. This is very easy. So it's 2 minus the quotient means I'm dividing 18 by 3. Now we are going to do the opposite. So I already have the algebraic expression and I'm going to write it in verbal form. And as I told you in the online lecture when I was explaining, I told you that there's several forms to write an algebraic expression and all of them are correct as long as you use the term that indicates the operation. So for example, in the first one we have minus. You can say minus, you can say subtraction, decreased by, the difference. So all of these indicates that you are subtracting. So I'm going to use the easiest one, which is a number minus 10. This is the easiest one. Okay, you can say the subtraction of n and 10, or 10 is subtracted from n is decreased by 10. Okay, so all of this indicates that it's a subtraction. The second one, it's 4 times b. So as I told you, there are many ways to write it. I wrote the easiest one, which is 4 times a number. You can say 4 is multiplied by b, or the multiplication of 4 and b, the product of 4 and b. So you can use a lot of terms that indicates the operation. In the last one, we have 3 times a plus 2. You know that according to the order of operation, a plus 2, it has the priority over the multiplication. So you already have a is added to 2, but 3 times this addition. Okay, so we say 3 times a number plus 2. And now in this question, we already have an algebraic expression and we need to circle the right answer, the right verbal statement that indicates this algebraic expression. So it's 16 divided by 2 plus 3 means, let us check each one of them. In the first one, they are telling us that it's 3 plus the quotient of 16 and 12. 3 plus the quotient of 16 and 12. Does it work out? 16 divided by 2 plus 3, it works out because you are dividing 16 by 12 and then you are adding 3 to it, so it works out. So the first one is correct. Let us see the second one. The sum of 3 and the quotient of 16 and 12. The sum means I'm adding. I'm adding what? I'm adding 3 with the quotient of 16 and 2. So it also works out. Now the quotient of 16 and 2 augmented by 3. What's the meaning of the word augmented? This is the second time we use this word. Augmented means plus. So the quotient of 16 and 2 is 16 divided by 2 plus 3. So we can say that all the preceding answers are correct. Now in question number 4, we need to evaluate the following expressions knowing that a equals 3. So now every time you see the letter a, you should replace it by 3. So it's very easy, just apply the order of operation. In the first one we have a plus 12. So I'm going to replace a by 3. So 3 plus 12 is 15. In the second one we have a minus 3. So it's 3 minus 3, which is 0. Now 15 times a, which is 15 times 3, equals to 45. Now 18 minus a, which is 18 minus 3, it's 16. Now 12 plus 3 times a, it means it's 12 plus 3 times 3. So following the order of operation, you have to start first by 3 times 3, which is 9. And now 12 plus 9 is 21. Now 3 divided by 3 plus 7, also applying the order of operation, you have to start by 3 divided by 3, which is 1. So you are going to get 1 plus 7, which is 8. Let us continue. We also need to evaluate the following, but here I have more than one variable, and I should replace in the first one instead of the a 4 and instead of the b 7. So it's 3 times 4 plus 5 times 7. According to the order of operation, I have to do the multiplication first. So 3 times 4 is 12 and 5 times 7 is 35. So I'm going to get 12 plus 35, which is 47. In the second one, I have x and b. X should be replaced by 12 and b should be replaced by 8. So 12 plus 5 minus 8 minus 3. 12 plus 5 is 17 and 8 minus 3 is 5. And now 17 minus 5 is 12. And the last one, we have 2 times c minus 3 times d. Instead of the c is 10, instead of the d is 4. So it's 2 times 10 minus 3 times 4. 2 times 10 is 20. 3 times 4 is 12, and 20 minus 12 is 8. Now question number 5, we need to replace n by its value. So I have different values for n, 9, 17, 0, and 10, and we have the algebraic expression n plus 3. We are going to see every time I change the value of n, what will happen. So the first one, instead of the n, we are going to put 9, so it's 9 plus 3, 12. In this time, I'm going to replace the n by 17, and 17 plus 3 is 20. Also 0 plus 3 is 3, and 10 plus 3 is 13. So every time you replace the letter n by a different value, you are going to get a different numerical value. So it depends, okay? Let us see the second one, which is minus n times 6. So I'm going to replace the n by 4. So minus 4 times 6 is minus 24. Minus 5 times 6 is minus 30. Minus 8 times 6 is minus 48. And 0 times any number is equal to 0. And here we go to the last question. I need to write an algebraic equation to find the value of a. If you look at the figure, we have a quadrilateral, and you know that in a quadrilateral, the sum of angles is equal to 360. So it's going to be a plus 90 plus 120 plus 100 is equal to 360. And then you add 90 plus 120 plus 100, and you are going to get 310. So a plus 310 is equal to 360. So you ask yourself, what's the number you added to 310 to get 360? So it's 50. So a equals 50. Okay, now in the second one, the perimeter of this rectangle is equal to 50 centimeters. You have to find the value of x. Well, you know that the perimeter of a rectangle or the perimeter of anything, you have to add the sides. So the sides that are in the rectangle are 2x and 2x, 3x and 3x, because they are four sides and every two opposite sides are equal. So I'm going to get 2x plus 3x plus 2x plus 3x equals to 50. If you add 2x, 3x, 2x, 3x, all of them, you are going to get 10x equals to 50. And now you would be able to know that, or you ask yourself, what's the number you multiplied by 10 to get 50? So x equals 5.